real quick. All right, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do our domain here in red. So I know if I make myself a table, we're going to start off with that. Always make a table. All right, so notice we only have 1 point today. So our table for our domain is at -4. And on our range, it's at +2. So immediately, before we even look at any inequality symbols or anything, I'm going to write my domain, x and y. And on the domain, I have a -4. And on the range, I have a 2. And so now I'm trying to figure out which inequality symbol is going to go here. So I know because I have a closed circle, it's either going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Well, let's test this out. If I pick another point going toward the arrow, I'm at 1, -3. 1, -3. If I go from -4 to 1, so if I'm looking at visually, if I'm going from -4 to +1, I'm increasing. Anytime I'm increasing, my x values are increasing. So those are the greater numbers. Greater than or equal to, because remember our circle here is closed. So again, if I pick 1, if I'm going from -4 to 1, I'm increasing, so my x values are greater. Let's look at my y values. If I'm going from 2 to -3, my y values are now decreasing, meaning I cannot have a bigger number than 2. All right, 1 is not bigger than 2, 0 is not bigger than 2. None of these numbers are going to be bigger than 2, leaving us with a less than or equal to symbol. Perfect. Let's look at the next one. All right, so same exact strategy. Start off with the table. All right, so now that I have my table, I have my 1 point, and I'm going to go ahead and mark my domain, which is at +5. And mark my range, which is at +2. Okay, immediately from here, I already know I need to go ahead and write down my x, my y, my 5, and my 2. Okay, before I do any inequalities. So I'm just going to pick a point that's going towards my arrow. This point is going towards my arrow, and that point on the x is at 7, and on the y is at -6. Okay? All right, so what's happening here is I'm going from 5 to 7. So from 5 to 7, I'm increasing. So let's look at our open circle. We have a less than or a greater than symbol because our circle is now open. So 5, so 7 is greater than 5. All right, so think about that. 7, if I put my little invisible 7 right here, 7 is greater than 5. Okay, so let's look at the y values. If I'm going from 2 to -6, let's look at that. 2 to -6. Looks like they're getting smaller. So the highest number I can get is 2. 1 is less than 2, 0 is less than 2, and so forth. All of these numbers are going to be less than 2. And that's why I'm using the less than sign. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick lesson on the day. I'll see you next time.